Hey, this is Dr. Keith Hersey, and you are listening to the Destroying Diabetes podcast. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Keith. They still hadn't locked the doors on me yet, so they let me come in and do another episode. So I must not be doing too bad, I think. They hadn't locked everything up yet, so they let me do another episode. I am so pleased today to have a very special guest. It's Dr. Nana Quansah. She's a pharmacist. She is a diabetes functional medicine practitioner, and she is a business owner. She graduated from Northern Kentucky University with a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry and the University of Kentucky College of Pharmacy with a Doctor of Pharmacy degree. She is the founder of Ditch Diabetes Academy. She mainly works focusing with individuals who have metabolic health issues to achieve healthy blood sugar levels without restricting meals and regain their focus, body, and energy through personalized coaching, expert consultation, and education to make long-term lifestyle changes based on a food-first approach. And prior to becoming a diabetes health coach, Dr. Nana worked in various Fortune 500 retail companies and large hospital settings as a pharmacist. Her diverse experience has made her well-versed in understanding patients' needs and challenges in the healthcare system. Dr. Nana's tips have been featured on several podcasts, diabetes workshops, social media, and international television. Dr. Nana's excellent leadership skills, expertise, and passion for people have aided many people with type 2 diabetes in the United States and other nations in reaching their full potential through lifestyle changes to live a healthy life. And again, I would like to thank Dr. Nana for taking some time out today to talk to us, because she is an expert in coaching patients with diabetes. I just brought her in to give her an insight in her experience working with diabetic patients, what's worked with diabetic patients, what kind of things that she's seen that's been successful with diabetic patients in controlling their blood sugar levels. So she is an expert on that. So I brought her on today to just provide some information. That's the source of this podcast, is just provide information for type 2 diabetics, things that you can implement, hopefully, in your path to wellness. So again, thank you for coming on today, Dr. Nana. I would just first question is just
Yes, Dr. Keith, thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here. And also, congrats on the launch of your podcast. Kudos to you. That's an exciting thing.
Thank you. Yeah, we're just trying to, provide information for people.
That's a good thing.
Okay. Well, first, how did you get started with diabetes coaching? What made you decide to pursue this area?
Oh, that's a good question. So there are several factors for me, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to share a few. So while I was working in the pharmacy, I saw many people, come in and out, but they weren't getting the results that they desired, right? So they were frustrated, complaining about medication side effects and all sort of stuff. But deep down, I knew that there were untapped avenues that as health professionals, we weren't exploring. So, there's no proper education and guidance for them as well, right? So for me, I had dreams of doing more with my career. So I looked at my PharmD degree as more like an entry point that will provide that gateway to other opportunities. But for some reason, I felt stuck. And what changed this whole thing for me is when I worked closely with someone who was living with type 2 diabetes, and he was able to significantly improve his health. So it was then that I realized that, oh, this illness can be turned around and people don't have to live with it for the rest of their life. So that's how I got started. And I used those principles that I learned from working with that patient to also improve my own health. You know, I'm a skinny, petite person, but I wasn't healthy, right? I was calling myself skinny fat. So while I was working in the setting that I was working in, I used to eat any and everything because I knew I was never going to gain weight. But I was experiencing low energy. You know, I was tired all the time. My moods were all over the place, constant cravings, things like that. So when I started implementing those principles that I learned from working with that patient, I started seeing changes. My moods were getting better. I was more energetic. My periods pains were no more. And that alone was a good enough motivation for me to keep going and trust the process. So that's how I got started learning, digging deeper into learning more about lifestyle changes and basically surrounding myself with like-minded people. So that set the solid foundation for me to be doing what I'm doing right now.
Okay, well, that's great. Just kind of a little bit just working myself as a pharmacist through the years, and you see people usually diabetic patients that they're adding on more medications, adding insulin injections, and now we have, the various like Ozempic and Wegovy and all that now, and just piling on medications instead of reducing them. So
it becomes a cycle.
Yes, yeah. And so, we just have to try to find ways to reduce that. And as is mentioned in the earlier podcast, that, a lot of times the copays are pretty expensive, even if you do have coverage. And and they and if they keep adding more medications, then that's more money that's coming out of your pocket just to treat the symptoms, not really work with the disease itself.
Exactly. Yep. You got it.
Okay. So and what do you think, like, in your experience, what role does mindset play in managing like blood sugar levels effectively with type 2 diabetes patients?
Wow. So mindset is really, really important. And actually, one of the first things that I work on with my clients is helping them unlock their potential. So I do that first because mindset, like I mentioned, is so important when it comes to making any type of change. It doesn't even have to be a chronic illness, any type of change at all, right? But the reason why it's important when it comes to chronic illnesses such as diabetes is, one, diabetes comes with a lot of invisible loads. A lot of people do not see what people are actually dealing with. And working with people that are living with this illness, I realize that the burnout is real. So when you even put out the daily task aside, this illness comes with a lot of mental attacks. A lot of people are ridiculed because they are living with diabetes. So in the case of this, you see that people are a bit embarrassed, they are frustrated, they even bury their emotions underneath and store so much anguish because it doesn't seem safe to communicate what is actually going on. So it's very important to address all this because stress alone, the stress of managing blood sugar levels even makes the illness worse, right? So I always tell the people that I work with or even on social media that even though you are going through something that many will not understand, it is important for you to make up your mind that you will win, you will be successful, and that you will not be the victim of this illness. You cannot continuously blame yourself for this illness. So unfortunately, no one really has to do this for you but yourself, right? The second reason that I think it's very important is if your goal is to overcome type 2 diabetes or reverse type 2 diabetes, it is the state of having improved and sustained insulin sensitivity. So you can only achieve these two if you're having sustainable habits. So if someone is going to implement these sustainable habits, they must have a right mindset to it, right? So reversal of diabetes means nothing if you cannot believe that it's possible for you. And that positive mindset will influence your commitment to making healthier choices, coping with side effects, staying disciplined. That positive mindset will empower you to take control of your diabetes. So I think it's very, very important. It plays a major role when it comes to, controlling your blood sugar.
Yes, yes, definitely. And working with your patients, what have you found to be successful with helping them control like their blood sugar?
Well, using the right words, right? First off, a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm diabetic," right? And that automatically labels you. You don't hear, when you think about cancer, you don't hear people say, "Oh, I'm cancerous," right? You don't hear people say that. So when you're living with it's better if you say, "Oh, I have diabetes," or "I'm living with diabetes," because when you start labeling yourself, your brain automatically picks it up. And then, so an example can be like if you're on a diet, right? Your brain now thinks that this is something temporal that you're doing. So it automatically makes you lack discipline. So rather than just focusing on using all these labeling words and all that, you can simply just say that, I'm making progress into having lifestyle transformation or something like that. So your brain picks that up and helps you to make the right, put the right habits into place. And then I believe that the right education is also important. You need to understand what's going on. You cannot just always rely on what someone says to you. You have to start this journey with a bit of confidence. So you need to know why. You need to know why insulin resistance is happening. How is your body operating now with this illness? Knowing the truth and waking up from the matrix, all the lies that we've been told, it helps you equip yourself with that knowledge about the factors that impact your blood sugar as well. I mean, there is a lot. And I think a third one that I want to talk about will probably be not having an all or nothing mindset, right? You want to allow yourself to go through that transition slowly because this illness did not happen overnight, right? When you think about it, Dr. Keith, people have had this going on for a very long time. So when you decide to reverse this or overcome it, it's not going to be just an overnight thing. It's going to take a while. So start by doing one thing at a time. If it's breakfast that you have to start with, change that one meal at a time. And in some cases, if you try to do everything at one time, your body might not be able to handle it really good, right? So you have to build your capacity first so you end up with the desirable result that you want in the long run. And maybe having expectations as well, having expectations, writing it down, having a good support system. These are things that I found really successful when it comes to controlling blood sugar, when it comes to mindset shift as well. Support system, building resiliency, increasing self-awareness just beyond the blood sugar numbers as well. Being in tune with your body and seeing the connection with how you're feeling as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely can identify with that. Excuse me. Just being a type 2 diabetic itself, it can be just overwhelming once you're first diagnosed, and you can just fall into the thing that, I'm stuck with this for life. I'm going to eventually, get sick and, lose limbs, lose my sight, lose organs. There's nothing really I can do about it. So it's definitely like getting your mind try to reverse that negative thinking into like more positive.
Exactly. And I mean, it's easier said than done, right? Because it's a very, sometimes it can be hard when you're switching from that negative to a positive mindset, because for the longest we've all been told that you have to manage this and live with it for the rest of your life. And if you can even permit me to say this on your podcast, it's as if we've been brainwashed with lots of misinformation.
Yeah.
Right? So it ends up crippling a lot of people, and they end up believing that they can't even thrive with this illness. Many think that I just have to take the medications and it will cure me. Many people think just because my mom, dad, auntie has it, I'm going to have it. So it's a lot. So I really don't fault them. And obviously, there's so much information out there on the internet. So it makes people obviously feel also exhausted after a while, and they end up not doing much for themselves. So all these things play a part in that as well. So I don't really fault them. It's easier said than done. But once you're in their shoes, you understand that this is not as easy as it is, as people say it is. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely agree. We agree with that. Yeah, it's just a lot of, as you said earlier, it's a lot of it, much of it as mental as physical, as far as making changes. And I was wondering if you could provide for like our audience like a specific example, I guess, how you helped a client with their mindset and the results of it, which help them improve their blood sugar levels.
So I think we've even talked about it from the second question that you asked, but I would say that I recently had a lady that participated in our free monthly workshop. We do a free monthly workshop every month, and when she came in, she was obviously overwhelmed, thinking that, okay, I have to live with this for the rest of my life. I don't know what I'm doing. But after the workshop, she emailed me and said that her biggest takeaway was she now understands that she has to get to the root problem, right? And there's a way to control her blood sugar without the restriction of meals. So, we talk here and then, and she finally became a client. And a couple of days into our coaching, she had a complete meltdown. Right. She started blaming herself and, frustrated because she couldn't figure things out. So we definitely had to work on shifting her perspective. So I told her that there's an opportunity to even do better on frustrating days. You have to realize how much of resiliency that you carry even throughout your daily tasks, because a lot of people can't even do half of the things that people that are living with this illness go through. You are doing twice as much as everybody else. Instead of, dealing with the daily stress of life, you have to also deal with managing, controlling some illness that you have. So it comes with a lot. So it's important to find the positive, even in the situation that, she was dealing with. So having that attitude that even if you feel stuck, now you don't have to remain stuck because you have help. You have a coach to help you, right? So as someone's perspective, it matters. It determines how they approach things. So these are some of the things that we had to work through with her, and then she finally, to think about it. Now she can adapt to a more healthier lifestyle, eating good, because it's not, she's just adapting to a healthier lifestyle, and by doing that, she was able to shift her mindset from that fear to empowerment. And now she views her journey as more of a self-care and embracing healthier habits as well. So that's an example that I can think of just from a few months ago.
Oh, wow! That's really important. And how do you handle? I imagine one of the biggest challenges that you have is that people, when you say that as far as what they can eat, I know that's a big block for people to make the changes, because like you said earlier, some people have a all or nothing, and that's pretty typically
Mm-hmm.
doomed to failure with that approach.
Mm-hmm. So are you what's the question? Are you asking how do I
Yeah,
approach
yeah.
that, or
How do you approach?
so my coaching is actually not focused on restricting your meals. I do not believe in that. I think that is something that is not sustainable. So I do not encourage that for my clients at all. I help them actually build healthier plate. So you can still eat the food that you love and enjoy. You just have to make healthier decisions. So if it's ingredients, you have to make healthier decisions regarding the ingredients. You have to understand that there are strategies that you have to incorporate in even in your choice of meals, right? So if it's carbs, we want to make sure we are pairing it with proteins. We want to make sure that we are pairing it with healthy fats, right? I do not believe in low carb diet. I do not believe in just not eating carbs at all. That's something I don't believe in, and I do not approve of it because it's not sustainable. And like I had mentioned in earlier in our interview, when your goal is to reverse or overcome type 2 diabetes, it comes with sustainable habits. And for you to have that sustainable habits, you have to have a positive mindset. So if you don't have sustainable habits, you will not be able to do this. And you cannot just say that I'm not going to eat cake or I'm not going to eat carbs for the rest of my life. That's impossible. And not only that, it comes with a lot of frustration, obviously, but it also leads to other complications later on in life. And I mean, it's better to just eat the food that you love and have healthier, make healthier decisions about the food that you're eating than just avoiding carbs and restricting yourself. And then later on, you have way more complications than you even started with. So I don't approach it. I approach it with you not restricting your food. You will eat the foods that you love because I'm originally from Ghana. So imagine someone telling me, hey, Nana, you cannot eat rice. I can't. I have to eat rice. Right? So I have to make sure I'm pairing it up with other stuff, right? So you have to make sure you put in people's culture into the coaching or the consultations that you are doing for them, because you cannot restrict people from the foods that they are used to eat. And obviously junk food is horrible. I would never advise them to eat junk food, but when it comes to your cultural foods and stuff, you can still eat it. You just need to know how to build healthier plates. So there are different strategies for that. You can eat your veggies before and then eat your carbs later. If you want to eat cake at the wedding, you want to make sure you eat your balanced meals at home before you go to the wedding and eat the cake. There are so many strategies that you can use and still be able to balance your blood sugar.
Yeah. That's definitely true, and yeah, because I know like some things that help me is just like I said, like eating just the order, eating the food, like eating the vegetables and then proteins and
Mm-hmm.
then carbs. Then using
Mm-hmm.
that lessens the blood sugar spikes that a lot of people experience
Mm-hmm.
after eating. So yeah, so that's
Mm-hmm.
what I say. That's really like positive because, like I said, it's got to be, sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever path that you take, it's something that you can do,
Yeah.
for hopefully the rest of your life. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about long-term changes. It's not about just doing something temporarily and then just be done with it. No, it's all about sustainable, healthy lifestyle changes, something that you can do for the rest of your life so it doesn't come back. Because even if you reverse it or you overcome it and then you start eating poorly again and going back to your old habits, you will have to be on medications again. You will have to be dealing with the stress and all that. So it's more about um incorporating sustainable habits. So that's the key. If it's not sustainable, it's not worth it. It's not going to go anywhere. You will get it back, and it will be probably worse than what you started with.
yeah, yeah, definitely. That's definitely the case. Um, it, then is there anything as we begin to wrap everything up? Is there anything else you would like to get across to our audience?
I would say that have a mindset of empowerment. Okay. Don't start this with the fear of you having to live with it for the rest of your life. And also, I know that some people don't see the urgency in it because some people do not really experience symptoms, but this is something that we all have to take serious. It's not even just for people that have been diagnosed, because as a matter of fact, it usually goes on in our body for a very long time, way before it is, diagnosed, or way before the A1Cs go high, or way before the blood sugar numbers go high. So our health is very, very important. And a lot of people don't really pay too much attention to it, right? So it's very important. Our health is definitely our wealth. You can have all the money that you have in the world, but if you have poor health, you can't even enjoy the money that you have. So that's something that we definitely have to take serious. And when you have this illness, you want to tackle it from not from a place of fear, because there's definitely a way to thrive with this illness. So that's what I want to share with your audience, and not necessarily restricting yourself as well. You can definitely have a normal life, thrive, and still be able to balance your blood sugar as well.
Yeah, definitely so. Definitely so. But Dr. Nana, thank you so much for coming in and speaking with us today and just dropping some pearls of wisdom. I hope that anybody that's listening can take some heedings from your advice and use that and implement them on themselves to a path of health and wellness. And how would people be able to contact you if they were interested in using your Ditch Diabetes Academy or getting consult?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So I think for now, most people may be probably even asking, what are some of the ways to prevent blood sugar spikes, right? So I created something that is just a short guide, and it's free. It's called Ultimate Secret to Prevent Blood Sugar Spikes. It's a free guide. So I will send it to you and you can put it on your show note. So if anybody wants to download it, it gives you 6 actionable steps that you can take now to actually prevent your blood sugar from spiking. And once you download it, you'll be able to have all my social media handles and you will be in contact with me. So if that's something that you like or you are interested in doing, you can definitely download that and you will be in my network and we can communicate from there. And I'm also on social media, so you will have all the social media handles from there once you download it.
But again, thank you so much. I really appreciate taking some of your busy schedule to come and drop some knowledge to our audience, and I'm sure it's really appreciated. And like I said, we will have that guy in the show notes, so just look for the link in the show notes to this episode.
Or they can go to my website and it's on the homepage as well as DitchDiabetesAcademy.com.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So
it was a pleasure being here. Yeah, I would love to come back and talk more about it. I'm really glad that you launched this podcast. Kudos to you.
Thank you, man. We definitely will have you on in the future, because I'm sure that there's we get a lot of questions, and I'm sure that you can help us handle some of them, especially about mindset and having the experience of reducing like blood sugar spikes.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I look forward to it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Nana. And then thank you for everyone that's listening. And like I said, feel free, please leave us a review. If you have any questions about the episode, we have the email address that you can link to. And then also we have the phone number if you want to call and ask any questions or have any comments. We'll be glad to get them. And we just wish you just continued wellness and just take it one step at a time. Type 2 diabetes is not a sentence. It's just a condition which can be controlled. Thank you so much.